Hello, and welcome to the Wild Wild West podcast. My name is Richie Ritchie of the MHRT Network. I have lost most of my voice for most of the day today, and it is now just finally coming back. So that's why you got that little raspiness baked into the cake there. Believe it or not, I'm not actually sick. It just, my voice decided that today was just not a good day. Over this way here is DZ. Uh, Representing his Los Angeles Chargers. And down at the bottom of the screen, trying to hide from the world in his camo as a Raiders fan, is Mr. Jack Kenna. I know I like to jest, but appreciate you joining the show here, Jack. We got a lot of stuff to cover on tonight's show. We've had obviously some very interesting games over the weekend here. Broncos obviously snapped their 11-game win streak with a loss to the Jaguars. I certainly have some thoughts on that. The Chargers won again on a little win streak of their own. So, congratulations to DZ and his team there. And Jack, your Raiders team, darn near beat the Texans.
Dude, they almost won, like killed the nation with almost getting the win. Nobody wanted that.
I could hear the screaming for the first time ever from Raider Nation saying, "Stop winning."
Right.
And it was weird. I could hear the chants, "Just lose, baby," and it didn't make sense to me because that's totally counterintuitive. But nonetheless,
agreed.
Nonetheless, you did end up squeaking out a loss in that game, despite having some pretty solid highlights to hang your hat on. And we will obviously get into that as well. So let's go right into this and start talking about your Texans, since that was, frankly, I think a shock game for a lot of people. I think a lot of folks were expecting that to be a much different outcome.
Yeah.
Wow, good job.
Yeah, it was like a way bigger, difference of what I thought, like what everyone thought. Like, you're going up against the number one defense. And, Richie, you have a great defense. DZ, you have a great defense. And it's these Texans, they have the best defense. You're right. It's up here. It's way up here. And I never expected the Raiders to play that well against the Texans. And it was like probably the best game they played all year. So when you play your best game and you still don't win, it's still a loss. You know what I mean? It's still a loss. I mean, Ashton Jeanty had his breakout game this year. I mean, 24 carries, 128 yards at 5.3 yards clip, 1 touchdown, and then 1 catch for 60 yards. This is the Ashton Jeanty, the number 6 pick overall that we've been looking for like this whole time. I mean, where has it been? This offensive line is that shitty, and it's still that shitty. It hasn't really gotten any better except for Rodgers. Rodgers had a great game. It's like, again, like zero pressures, no sacks, no nothing. It's what you see when you give your rookies a chance to actually play. And instead of this Pete Carroll mindset, old man Pete, non-compete type situations. And Max always does what Max does. It's like, what did he have? I think he had 1 sack, maybe 2. I don't know. Let me look at this shit. Actually, no sacks. It didn't matter because you know what? He put pressure on the quarterback. And so Geno actually had a better game than Stroud. It doesn't make any sense. I'm glad they did not win because you know what? They're doing everything they can do just to fuck up this draft. You know what? And next week, we play against the New York Giants. Ooh. New York Giants, they're trying to lose their games right now too. So it's going to make the difference of number 1 we're number 2. And then, going into the last week of the season with the Kansas City Chiefs, oh, you have no Patrick Mahomes. You got no booger eating Minshew. Now you're down to a third string quarterback on KC. And they just got smoked by Tennessee. I mean, think about that. Kansas City got smoked by Tennessee that the Raiders smoked them. I mean, that's only one of 2 wins the whole season. And Kansas City lost to Tennessee. And so it's like the NFL is trying to set my team up to failure, to fail. Like, you can't even fail to fail. You want to fail to, like, not get a good pick. You're going to set up to fail.
We're going to see how committed the Vegas, the Raiders are to a top draft pick, especially these last 2 games. Coming off that game, how you guys played against Houston, should be interesting. The Giants and the
I agree.
The hapless Chiefs. I mean,
I agree.
This is we might have some. I mean, maybe Pete got word that he might be on the way out. Maybe he's like, well, I'm going to sabotage this if just try to do something. Because I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, or any of the Raider fans in the chat, that the Raiders kind of went at the Texans a little different than they've been playing all season. I heard a clip of something. I don't know if that means they did something different on defense or offense, but it means they like kind of changed something up. Did you hear anything, Jack?
Well, there's nothing new. It's like we do have a new offense coordinator, so
Willie,
and I thought he did like his best job, and Genty did his best job like for the whole season. Hey, Nav, okay, Richie, put this up. Nav, so 88 on the MEPS test is a good score. I mean, I don't know, bro. I'm like, better than me. So I'm happy. I'm proud of my son. He got up at 4 a.m. this morning, like to do those tests, and he came home like literally 30 minutes ago. So I'm happy about that.
You got to buy him a drink on me, man, tomorrow.
I can't wait. My son's gonna be 21 years old. 21, so I'm gonna buy him his first drink. So my son Jeremy Kenna, salute to you, kiddo.
You're gonna buy your son his first drink. Please tell
I am
me
gonna
you're
buy
not that naive.
Well, his first.
Well,
legal drink.
no. My first drink legal.
Yeah.
I know he gets his own drinks.
Okay.
As being a college kid at San Jose State, I already know that. But from a dad to a son,
fair enough. All that's fine and cool. It's just the way it was worded and phrased. Look, like I said on my 19th birthday, which is the legal drinking age here, when I was carded for the first time, I said to the lady, well, thank God you didn't do that a few years ago.
Yeah, man, I was impressed by the Raiders.
I can't wait for this season.
Technical difficulties for Jack Kenna.
Thank you, Gavin Newsom.
Oh, there he goes. He's back.
All right, I'm back. Okay, good. I'm happy for you guys. Like, I'm glad to see like there's 2 AFC West teams end up going to the playoffs, and it's like to see how that all plays out. And it's like answer this question after you guys do your tidbits on your games. I want to know again. I asked this last week. Who are the teams that you're most scared about in playing? Well, I can't wait till you guys play each other.
Jack,
that'll be badass.
Chargers haven't clinched yet. The Broncos are the only one to clinch, I believe.
Yeah,
Broncos clinched, but I can't wait to see you guys play each other.
Yeah, that game's probably going to mean something thanks to the Jaguars.
Dude, the Jaguars, they beat every AFC West team. They're the only team to do this. They beat everybody.
I didn't
even get it.
I have so much crap about that. Like, that game was so atrocious. I don't even know where to start.
Dude, I watched a little bit of everybody's game, not from beginning to end, but it was kind of poetry because on X, Jags fans and Broncos fans were going at it all week leading up to this game. And, you're my rival. So I'm like, you love to see, especially competing for the West and everything. And it went crickets. I have not seen any Broncos people after that game. They've got to be in their feelings right now. So, I mean, it's one game. I kind of think like, I don't know if we talked about this in earlier shows, but it's like you're gonna stumble, and if you're gonna stumble now and get yourself right. You know what I mean? Going forward.
I actually agree. I actually agree to that. I think that's like if you had to fail, I'd rather fail in that game than like say against the Chiefs or the Chargers, for example. And on top of that, and by the way, the game against the Chargers is not a gimme either. The Chargers are one heck of a team. So I mean that's gonna be like my prediction for that game is that I think that'll be flexed to Sunday.
They have that option, right, for that last
Yeah,
game.
like I actually think that's going to be flexed to Sunday Night Football. Like that is going to be like one
It's
heck
that
of a
game,
game.
or I think it's the Patriots and Ravens.
Zach down.
Would be the other game.
hmm
Yeah, and the Ravens. I mean, God, what they did in their game yesterday was what Lamar.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a must-win game. No thanks, I'm not playing. But yeah, man, yeah, we'll see. And kind of mad that the game's in Denver. I think, right? It's in Denver. I'm not mistaken.
it
It'll
is.
be
But
in
see,
Denver, yeah.
The Broncos played like all of these. Like the vast majority of their win streak was on the road,
It's so wild because
and
everybody.
so
Yeah, I saw a message or a tweet. It got a lot of traction. People are like, "Do the Broncos just play at home like every game?" And that's what it seems like as lately. But I guess we're forgetting about the beginning of the season.
no, the majority of the win streak that the Broncos had
Was on the
were
road.
road game wins.
Probably right.
Like, and then so what we had is back-to-back home games. Now we're going to KC, and then we're back at home to face the Chargers.
Dude, and this KC team, completely effing different than they were 2 weeks ago. Oh my
Right.
goodness. I don't even know who this guy is. Shane Buckley or Buck, but I can't even pronounce his last name. Bukali.
Dude, I'm just proud that you actually got an idea what his name is.
He was signed off the Bills practice squad. I have no clue who he is. I didn't know he existed. And and then here, let's break this news for everybody in the chat because I don't think Jack knew this. The Chiefs are moving out of Missouri to Kansas. And I saw the renderings. It's like all the new stadiums are just copy and pasting Allegiant in Vegas. That's what the new stadium for the Chiefs is going to look like. It's going to be a red version of Allegiant. Damn near looks the same. But yeah, man, it makes
Dude,
me all
let's put a stamp on Allegiant on the KC Stadium. Allegiant.
Well,
and Richie too. Same with your stadium. Let's put an Allegiant on there. Put a little Raider symbol on that shit.
I'm kind of sad because one of my bucket list items was to go to Arrowhead for a game, and I've never been to Arrowhead.
Me too.
And so obviously this is some years in the making, right? Stadiums don't get built overnight. So maybe next year I might have to go to a Arrowhead game sooner, make it out there. But
let's make it a trip, fellas. We'll make a trip, all three of us.
We'll have to see next year's schedule.
So, just with regards to your game, Jack, and we'll kind of maybe move on to the Broncos Jags next, and we'll finish off with your game, their DZ. I saw, I have to say, Genty had, he looked the part, kind of for the first time I think this season, arguably. And I also want to give some credit is that young offensive lineman is looking okay. Rogers.
Rogers. Finally. Get some play time.
Right, but the next question here is, will the scheme that you're going to run in the future, which is obviously not going to be what you're running now, is he going to
Obviously,
be is he going to be well suited for it? Yes or no? And we just
well, we
don't
don't
know,
know.
right? No, like
We don't
we just
know.
don't
It's like
know. Yeah.
we
We
just
just don't
don't
know.
know.
Right. And so
He's probably gone. Richie. I'll say this: Pete's probably gone. So it's like it depends, like who they bring in, who's going to run, like be the head coach, who's going to be your offensive line coach. All I know is right now under Pete Carroll has not done anything. And it's like Pete Carroll's son, who's the offensive line coach and the running back coach. This is his first game, so it's like after getting rid of Chip, and we have our new offensive coordinator. Like he's not a new offense coordinator; he's an old offense coordinator. To do what they did against, I think honestly, Houston looked at his game as like, oh, this is such an easy win. We don't have to play hard. Well, that's your fault. You guys almost lost that game, and I would say this is probably the best game the Raiders played the whole season, even versus the Patriots in game 1 or versus the Bears where they barely lost 2. But that's on Houston.
yeah, I think you overcame more adversity in this game to show up the way you guys did. Like you guys had a much steeper hill to climb, and honestly, like it was pretty impressive to see the highlights and stuff come up as I was watching the Broncos game and everything.
Agreed, bro. I agree.
So let's move on to the Broncos Jags. I don't even know where to start in this crap. So
Yeah, that was a big loss. I predicted the Broncos win that game for sure.
I think we all did, right?
So I thought the Broncos were going to win that game, and this is now the
Hey,
second
what's up,
game.
Rebel?
This is now the second game in a row where I just have so many questions about the calls. Like
On
I
what
just
side?
don't, like against the Broncos. Like I don't understand. Like I
You talking about the
understand.
reffing?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I totally track that was actually pass interference in the end zone. Okay? Totally cool. I agree. No argument for me there. Okay? Yes. Totally got it. However, that Malcolm Roach roughing the passer that killed the momentum on that drive, like that was totally crap. Like absolutely crap. And the reason why I think it's crap is because he had one arm out to try to stop his weight from going on the quarterback, and he intentionally rolled off as soon as he possibly could as he was falling to the ground. And I initially thought that he actually launched off the ground. He did not. he moved and then went like this. He did not jump off the ground, and like he didn't like spear him, which is technically roughing the passer in today's NFL, which I disagree with, but it is deemed roughing the passer in today's NFL. So I thought that was absolute crap as a call, and I thought that killed momentum. And I also think that against mobile quarterbacks and other things like that, there needs to be some leeway given for their mobility for defenders to bring those quarterbacks down to the ground and allow themselves to wear out the opposing offensive line. And then there was the no call again on yet another arm grab on Pat Bryant. And then there was like, from my perspective, I'm head scratching here. A crown of the helmet hit on a defenseless receiver. Now, I didn't think the dude from the Chargers deserved to be ejected for a similar hit. However, the NFL set the precedent. If you lead with the crown of the helmet and you hit the dude as a defenseless receiver, they kick the dude out the game. So I'm
we didn't
trying
have
to
anybody.
understand.
We didn't have anybody ejected. You're talking about Perriman from our last game.
No, the game
Or
before.
okay, get you Tony
The game
Jefferson.
before.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So I'm looking at that game and saying the NFL set the precedent for, we don't want this in the game. You do this, you get ejected if two things are true. Defenseless receiver, number one. And then number two, if you lead with the crown of your helmet, right? And so my problem with what happened there is, first off, Pat Bryant got knocked out, like straight up done. And he was a defenseless receiver, and the defender led with the crown of his helmet. Like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Like, I truly don't get it.
Wait,
You
wait,
either
wait,
call
wait,
it one way or
wait,
you
wait.
don't.
Pump the brakes on that. You're gonna blame the hit instead of somebody else?
Oh, the quarterback made an absolute retarded move there too. Don't get me wrong. Like, Bo Nix put his receiver in harm's way, and that is like Bo. Let's put it this way: Bo already let you know how he felt about what he did. If you saw him on the sideline, the dude was losing it on what he did to his receiver, and as he should have been. Okay, so like all things being said, however, my point here is this: the dude, the league either remains consistent on what their expectations are for hits like that, or they let the more aggressive play stand. The problem I have is they ejected the Chargers guy and they let the other dude continue on. You either pick one. You either eject the guy for doing stuff like that, leading with the crown and doing the thing, or you don't. You just got to pick one. You can't have these like willy-nilly, like, I think this or I think that. There is no room for, like, the defenders already have enough to try to think about. They need to get clear direction on what's expected of them. So right now, the Chargers guy is probably looking in that, like, four-letter curse words. Like, like, how did I get ejected and that dude didn't?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if these refs played football at all, or they just learned to ref games,
Right.
because you're wearing shoulder pads, you have a helmet on, and it's no matter what, the helmet's going to be in the way of everything, you know, unless you're like hitting somebody with one side. It's just, I don't know what they want. They want you to grab people, rip them down, or two-hand touch them. I don't know. I do see some egregious stuff, like you're talking about that Malcolm Roach roughing the passer. I'm not saying that's egregious. I didn't. I could see how it was looked at by two different ways, because believe me, I've seen my quarterback get sacked, I think the highest out of anybody this season, or one of the highest. And it's like they're really looking to see, like, body on body, like, instead of, like, I'm like, if Roach probably would have leaned his body one way and kind of went at him sideways, they probably wouldn't have called it or something. It's really weird, man. And it's not.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of an old school mentality. Like, for like, guys like, Rebel and Nab that are in the chat right now. It's like the Soul Patrol. Just take guys out. It's like, NFL is not the NFL was then. It is now. It's like,
I mean, they're trying to
and
take.
I get it. You're gonna protect, like, your best players, like, and I will say this, DZ, it's like, after concussions for, like, Junior Seau, it's like, I really respected that player. I really respected him. It's like, getting those head to heads, but at the same time, like, dude, it's a fucking game of football. It's like, it's a game that's meant to be played hard and, knock each other out. And that's what you do. It's like, that's why, Richie, I sent you that picture, that video of Steve Atwater today. I'm like, man, I wish that guy was a Raider. I'm like, this dude is like 205 pound, just knocking down, a Koizé from the Kansas City Chiefs at like 250 pounds. I'm like, he just fucking just shut his ass down. That's the type of football I like. So,
No, but see, my point here is simple. I agree with you. I actually have no problem with these aggressive hits. I actually think that I want to see them come back to the NFL to force these quarterbacks to actually, like, read the field, learn how to throw a ball properly, all those sorts of things. I want that to come back, right? Because I think we're going to end up, as a result,
what's up,
seeing
Pena?
better. I think we're going to see better products on the field if we allow those hits to come back. However, my point is this: the NFL is saying we don't want that and we are penalizing against it. What
Yeah.
my issue is, they're not penalizing it like evenly across the board when these things happen. DZ's team over here, dude got ejected for literally what was like damn near the same hit on Pat Bryant. Like very, very similar. Very similar. Led with the crown of the helmet, defenseless receiver. Now, the angle of their bodies may have been a little bit different and all that kind of stuff, but the point is what are the two things? Crown of helmet, defenseless receiver. The defender knew the guy was defenseless because he had his back to him, and he led with the crown of the helmet. It's super simple. The NFL has already said that needs to go, and they ejected a Chargers player for it. My point is, you eject a Chargers guy for it because you want it gone, then you need to eject the dude from the Jags for the same play. Okay? Or a very similar play. You need to officiate with consistency, if but for nothing else, but to send a very clear, very straightforward message as to how you want the safeties to play, so that they get the message and that hit is removed or gets edited out of their playbook. And if you don't, then you're going to end up with a bunch of safeties and linebackers, for that matter, pushing the boundaries because they want to try to get away with it. Right? So, you either are okay with the play or you're not okay with the play. Pick one. But don't start officiating this willy-nilly, Chargers guy bad, Jags guy good, because Jags is this great story and we want the Jags to continue to win and do all the things because, Duval Jesus.
Jacksonville Jesus.
Whatever. I go Duval Jesus because, it is what it is. But it's it's stupid. The NFL is literally selecting the winner like they do in the WWE, and they're calling plays, it seems.
It's just, you're saying it's too much parity in between referees.
No, it's not. It's not parity is my point.
Oh, not enough. Yeah. Okay.
There's not enough parity. That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way,
what Nab just said right there.
Jack, and by the way, my comment holds true for what I see with some plays that are not called on Max, as an example. I'm seeing his jersey.
Oh my God,
I'm seeing his jersey get pulled back, and in every game that I've ever seen in most NFL games, as soon as the jersey gets pulled like that and there's that stretch on the jersey, that's a flag 100% of the time.
I don't know. Something I've been noticing.
I agree. It's like,
Go ahead, Jack.
Richie, there was an arm thrown around him and grabbed the opposite side of the jersey and hold him. It was not even a holding call. It's like, the refs were bad, dude. I wish Guru was on here for this show tonight. Because I would love to ask him a lot of questions.
Benito had two of those as well, where his he had his where his shoulder pad was, he was pulled back like this, with one arm by the other dude. No holding call, nothing, zero. And it's just it's so egregious, it's so in your face that
we see it.
It's on, it's right there. It's I'm sorry, come on now.
I mean, we'll get in my game. We'll get in my game later, but the Cowboys O-line, first of all, they're pretty decent O-line, but they were holding quite a bit, and it took Khalil Mack all the attention to get he was look, and mother effer, he's holding me and it took him finally to kind of this is what I hate, that the players have to resort to basketball or soccer to get attention of the refs, to be look, dude, this is obviously illegal. I mean, I've heard you can call a holding play on every play, right? But it's
pretty much.
Oh, look, Stinson just said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took forever just to get that, and it actually negated a Cowboys touchdown. But I've seen penalties that I'm that doesn't make any sense. I mean, we see the way the NFL is going. They want to take out the rough hits, but then they let stuff go. My thought, so damn simple, too simple to make all.
Yeah, my thoughts, so damned. So Nabman, thank you, bro. So damned simple that it seems too simple. Let's make all the all the calls and non-calls reviewable. Duh. I agree, bro.
The game would go on forever. I mean,
it would. You know what? The games go on forever, anyways. Like we have too many commercials, anyways. It's like, let's get it right. Let's just get that shit right.
Well, here's my point though on that, Nav, Nav and DZ and Jack. Why is it that New York can call in for some calls and not for others? Like, what's the point? Why, like, what is that threshold? So again, I have that as a question as a fan.
and for what people don't know what Richie's talking about when he says the Chargers, that was last week against the Chiefs, I believe. Yeah, where Tony Jefferson got ejected. New York decided they didn't call it. They didn't eject him during the game. The refs didn't do it. It was New York who had called in and was like, "No, get him off the field."
Correct,
So,
and that's what my point is, which is like New York calls in against Jefferson and it's like, hey, no, the ratings on the Broncos game and Jags game's going real good. Just leave that guy in there. We're gonna go ahead and keep these ratings where they're at, man. Like,
well, that's like one side of Mississippi versus the other side of Mississippi. And I think you guys, as being AFC West fans, can see that. Wherever you live, it's like you can see that. You're in New York, like you're East Coast or you're West Coast. And there's definitely division there. It almost brings me back to like the old days, like when all of us are like, AFC West teams, AFC West, AFC versus the NFL. It's like, there's still a division there. And I don't want to hear from anyone saying it's not. I still kind of feel it's the same way. So thank God, like, guys like Al Davis that brought this merger together and fought for our conference. So thank you, Al. Rest in peace, bro. You did so much for like all this stuff. But I still feel like it's you go on one side of the Mississippi, you get one call. You go on the other side of the Mississippi, you get a different call.
My point ultimately here is that I think as fans, what the NFL is doing right now is they're making the game more and more difficult to watch as fans that understand the rules better. And I think the NFL is making a huge mistake in this regard, which is fantasy is actually allowing more players to understand more about the game because folks are starting to bet on things and they're starting to play games and it's becoming more involved. People are becoming more involved. So you're getting, married couples that are like literally playing fantasy football together. You're getting like
I mean, dude, my wife just took me out. I was the best team in semifinals. She just took me out. She's moving on. I'm not. So
right, but this is the point. You're getting couples that are playing fantasy football together. And as a result of that, you're getting the spouse that's starting to learn the rules of the game, just as their husbands used to traditionally start understanding and knowing the rules of the game. And then it's getting more and more of the fan base more and more educated. And because the details are becoming easier to find, right? Like you're able to search them up online and you're having more like YouTube channels like this and others that are like breaking down all the rules. It's actually making the game less watchable because more people understand the missteps and miscues that they're seeing on the field more than they ever have. Ever. Like literally ever. Like we look back at some of the games back in like the 80s and the 90s and knowing the rules then, we're like, wow, did they ever miss a bunch of calls? But the general average fan didn't know the ins and the outs of the rules like we do now in today's NFL.
My biggest issue, Richie, is it's kind of like the other side to what you just said. We have a lot more people involved in the NFL, which is the NFL's goal, right? The NFL is
that's the goal.
It's a cash cow. This might as well be a religion in the United States. It's NFL.
It is
rules,
cash cow.
NFL rules all, but at the same time, we've got what I would call maybe casuals, maybe not casuals. They could be fans of their team. They see hits like the one that happened to Pat Bryant. They see Tony Jefferson 2 weeks ago, Denzel Perryman, what just happened against in Dallas. Those are dirty players. That's their first thing. That's a dirty football player.
I like Denzel Perryman. I will never say anything bad about that guy. He was a Raider.
And then
he's a good player.
Then you get it trending. Oh, he's dirty. They're dirty. You know, and we've talked about this in previous shows. We just think that they're from a different generation, or they're playing the position the way it needs to be played. Essentially, that's how you were taught as a kid growing up. And now you're playing in the NFL where they handicap the defenders so much so that sometimes you have no choice, you know, in certain scenarios, and instincts take over. There's a lot of this game is
almost like flag football, right, DZ? It's like you almost got to play flag football.
These defenders have a split second to react, you know, and it's their job on the line as well. Like, you know, say you pull up, we've seen all these soft tissue issues. There's a myriad of things that could go wrong if you're not making a play. You know what I mean? Like, you can get cut, you could be on a, you know, expiring contract. There's so much things that go on, but then you get all these people. They're a dirty team. That's a dirty player. This guy does this, and they start digging up their long career of all the plays that they've had, and it's like, give me a break, man. You know, crap happens in this league, in this game, and you know, things are going to happen. We know what's dirty. Stepping on a guy where they capture that kind of stuff. I don't know what player that was. I think it was a Seattle Seahawks guy doing something like that. Spitting, that's dirty, right? Like, but hard hits, man, and like bang bang plays. That's kind of where I draw the line. I mean, we were taking out spearing. I think spearing is, you know, that's obviously a no-no, and leading with the crown of the helmet. But, you know, they're calling penalties on guys for, you know, leading with their shoulders, but your head is in front of your shoulders. Like, there's only so much you can do. These guys look like they never. Okay,
it's like replay. Like, they watch it back on replay. It's like, but it's bang, bang, bang. You know, like it's happening so fast. You can't control that.
Daniel, I never played in the NFL. I will give you that. All right.
Well, none of us played the NFL, but it's like, you know, it happens so fast. It's like, if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to have an egregious, like, to any player that, you know, hits somebody, but it happens fast. And now we're down to like this whole replay stuff. It's like, it's by frame by frame by frame by frame. So it's like,
not D1, dude. I'm 5'10". I'm 5'11". I did not play D1.
I played rugby at an extraordinarily high level here in Canada, like very high level.
And Stinson, there's going to be some cheap stuff. I mean, these guys, while they're pros, they're also competitors, and they hate each other, and there's crap talking going on. So stuff happens, man. Like, we know when they need to draw the line, and then there's other stuff like pushing and shoving, like whatever. That is what it is. Like, stuff's going to happen. But like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the last time I saw a dirty hit, like in these last few weeks. And I mean, I'm thinking Richie thinks that against Pat Bryant was a dirty hit. I don't know.
Wait, Nav, you played in the NFL?
I do not think it was a dirty hit.
But you think he should have gotten ejected or something?
My point is, if the NFL is going to say what Jefferson did is an ejectable play, objectively speaking, because of the two reasons they gave. Again, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying the NFL has already told us what they think.
Yeah.
New York called it in and said, make him gone. And the two reasons they gave: number one, defenseless receiver; number two, led with the crown of his helmet. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And so my point is if the NFL says if a twofer exists, dude gets ejected, and that's the criteria, I'm only as good as the information I have as a fanalist here, is Both things were true. In that hit against Pat Bryant, why wasn't it called in?
I mean,
and
to
and
kind
I'm
of
not saying I agree. I'm just simply saying they already set the precedent. They already said what they expect.
go back to the Tony Jefferson, after that play, but there was a previous play where he lit up another guy, and they were forcing a lot of incompletions, and so I think it was like his second one or something, or he hit him, and maybe this one there was too much helmet involved, but that could have been the reason for them wanting to get him out. Someone monitoring, like, oh, he's playing the game a little bit too fast, too rough. I don't know. Something. Look, I could say a lot of stuff, but then this channel would be monetized, right? So I'm trying to watch my P's and Q's here. We all know we're not really big fans of the way this league is going, and we get it. We understand they want. I think I said this a long time ago. I feel like they want this to be like the European version of the NHL. European version is less fighting, it's more scoring. You know what I mean? They want it less hits. They want this to be higher scoring.
They
Everybody,
want more whiz bang,
yeah, more
whiz
bets and
bang,
stuff.
whiz
And
bang.
Hey, DZ, are you a hockey fan, bro? I got to ask this question. Like, from my girl Blue. My girl Blue, I know she'll probably be watching this stuff later on. Are you a hockey fan too?
yeah, Washington
And
Capitals.
Richie, are you a hockey fan? I know you're a football fan, but as a Canadian, I'm like, I never heard you
Take
talk
it a
about
little bit.
hockey, so I'm just curious.
I mean, as a Canadian, I know all the rules of hockey. I watch it when I have to when it's on TV, but I don't actively seek out watching hockey. But it's like I don't think you understand here in Canada, like even here, if you have a town and it's got more than like 500 or 600 people,
It's probably playing in the United States somewhere.
like there is a hockey arena in that town.
Yeah.
Okay, like they got a gas
Right?
station. They have a gas station. They have like the corner store, and they have a hockey arena. Everything else is optional, but those three things they have like for sure. And so hockey is very much like the sport here in Canada. Like it's not even close.
I mean, I've said this. I don't know if I think, in my opinion, and look, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them. But hockey to me is the last like pure sport that they haven't really butchered yet. And that's probably why it's kind of lower on the totem pole with other, it's not promoted as much, but it's still a great game. And I love it. I usually, once football season kind of winds down, I get into hockey mode. But since the Chargers are still
Oh,
doing pretty
DZ,
well,
me too, man. It's like Nap. You know this, Lou Richards. That's what 99% of our conversation is. It's not about the Raiders. It's about hockey. And and Richie, like your guy, like and Bill, hockey. So it's like, dude, hockey's a great sport. I wish there was like more hockey players in the NFL and like that the mindset.
You're not going to get it.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm not going to get it, but it's just my opinion. That's a pure sport. Pure.
it's fun. Definitely fun.
Yeah. So my general takeaway was, we had some good plays in the game. The Broncos had a few good things that we did overall. The defense really did struggle though in this game, and this is where my concern was, is that we lost Brendan Jones. He's a tremendous safety for the Denver Broncos. And Vance Joseph did not adjust well on the defensive side of the ball. He needed to mix things up more and do more and that sort of thing, and he really didn't. He did not shake things up. He didn't do more. What he did was he relied on the defensive line to wear down the offensive line of the Jags, which they did. Because as the game went on, the Broncos defense got more and more pressures. However, and sorry, by the way, just on that note there, the Broncos are now sitting at 63 sacks on the season.
Yeah. Whew,
Okay. We got 5 more sacks against Jacksonville in this game to elevate that total again.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
So that
nuts.
is that's again something to, call out. Okay. And I also wanted to bring one other interesting Broncos stat before I kind of get back over to the game is Bo Nix is 244 passing yards and 2 touchdown passes away from being the third player in NFL history with 3,500 passing yards and 25 passing touchdowns in
Wait,
each
in
of his
history
first
or Broncos history?
no, in history, in
Holy
each of
shit.
his 2 first seasons. Now, here's a question for both of you. Who are the other 2? And chat, leave those answers down below. I want to see if you know it too.
I don't even know. I'm clueless. I never knew he was like that close, like breaking records. I mean, goddamn, Richie, that's fucking awesome.
Well, it can't be Mahomes because he sat his first year.
Correct.
So there's that. I'm just gonna throw one out of the blue. I'm gonna say Peyton Manning. See on there?
Correct. Yep.
No,
He's one.
Okay. All right.
Who's
I don't
the
know
other?
that. Jack. Who'd be the other?
Dude, I don't even know, bro. It's like I love the
Give us a name.
comment, and I have no clue.
I'll just dig one out of my butt. Dan Marino. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Justin Herbert.
Oh. Damn.
Oh, Herbert.
So Justin Herbert and Peyton Manning are the other 2 that have those titles or the aura around them that
I
have done what
think
they
Bo
did.
Nix, he's gonna have a really good stat out of the wins for his first 2 years.
He's right up there with Mahomes and everything else for
Yeah,
the win stats and all that
You
sort of
always
thing.
up there with John Elway and Peyton Manning
Yeah.
for like being on the team.
No, like Bo Nix win to loss ratio is insane.
It is.
Like it's insane. Like right now he's sitting at 12-3.
Right.
Last year he had a 10-win season. As a rookie, he had a 10-win season, and then now he's already gone above that in terms of win number. So he's got a remarkable win to loss ratio as a
The only
young
other guy
quarterback.
that I can think of that compares to would be Mahomes, but then Mahomes has that asterisk that first season
He sat the first season, so he kind of had that
Yeah.
runway where he kind of came into the league and kind of did that, right?
And then even though Herbert started his second game or whatever it was, they didn't have that many wins. No.
So anyways, I just thought those are some interesting stats and numbers and stuff to bring up on the show after the Broncos lost to the Jags. Just a
Are you concerned at all about your defense?
I am actually, yes.
I will say this, I would have never ever thought that Trevor Lawrence would have went 23, 36, 270 yards and 3 touchdowns with a 115 quarterback rating against the Broncos. I'm like, Richie, I see your defense is the best defense in the NFL, period, bar none. I'm like, I was kind of shocked with that.
No,
Jack,
that was
who did you say, Jack?
I said 23 and 36, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he got sacked 5 times and still had a quarterback rating of 115.4. I'm like, I was like, wow. I'm like, we talked about this before. It's like, the Jags beat every team in the AFC West.
Thank you, Nav.
So they are like a team to watch out for because you just don't know what they're going to do every Sunday.
I was about to say it, but he was talking.
Jack, I was trying to figure out who you were talking about, but when then you said the 5 sacks, I put it together. And thanks, Nav. He's
Trevor Lawrence,
fastest keys east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, man. Liam Cohen, like coach of the year stuff, you can make an argument for like 10 teams. You can give it to Sean Payton, you can give it to Vrabel, you can give it to whoever. But what he's done in 1 year, like they were 4-13 or something last season, and how what their record is right now and what they just did against a top 3 defense in Denver. And then I don't know where the offense ranks, but it's got to be pretty decent as well. That's my coach of the year right now. They are playing really well. They've swept the West. They beat the brakes off of my Bolts. And look, I could make up excuses, and I'm not going to.
I think my Raiders played, the Jags better than both your teams did.
Probably you're probably right, Jack. But I do not want to face them in the playoffs. The Chargers have to do everything. First of all, they're not guaranteed, but once they get in, do everything you can do to not play the Jacksonville Jaguars. That would be great because for whatever reason, they seem to be a very complete, balanced team, passing, throwing, and then their defense seems to be pretty solid as well. But I asked you about your defense. You've played 2 pretty, competent offenses, and your defense has given up 30. I think it's 30 plus points in each back-to-back games.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I mean, going forward, you've got the hapless Chiefs, and then you've got my Chargers, and that'll probably be a gritty game. So I was trying to say I wouldn't be concerned in your defense if I were you.
I am.
But playoffs, it's a different beast, so you never know.
So what my issue right now is that Brandon Jones is not guaranteed to come back in 4 weeks.
Okay.
He's got a torn pec. It's got to heal properly. He's got to recover properly. And even with the extra buy in there, let's assume we win out. Okay. Cool. That's going to only give you that 1 extra week of rest. And so you got 2 games. So he missed this game. He'll miss the Chiefs game. He'll miss the Chargers game. And then he'll have potentially maybe that 1 week bye. And then he'll be back, maybe. But my point is, that's a maybe. He may not actually be back this season. The Broncos actually lost a guy who was being groomed on the practice squad. The week that Brandon Jones got hurt, the week after, immediately after, the Broncos lost him off the practice squad. Now, PJ Locke is a great player. Don't get me wrong. He's a good dude and great depth for the team. But he's not Brandon Jones. And PJ Locke has some weaknesses that got exposed last season. And there's a reason, the season before, sorry. And that's why they went out and got Brandon Jones, who was an upgrade over PJ Locke. And so my Broncos needed another guy at the safety position to act as depth. And they lost a guy on the practice squad. I want to say to the Patriots or to the Packers. I can't remember who. It was one or the other, I think. And he got poached. And that's the problem is that, we should have potentially elevated him or done something to allow him to stay on the team and do what we need to do.
Your team has 1,200 players that are UDFAs that make the roster. So it's that's something that we all want. Richie,
yeah, well, that safety was a UDFA as well.
So many dudes that do that. So you gotta put somebody out there, right? You gotta give us some crumbs.
Yeah, but now he's
to pick them up.
He was another UDFA that we had who was going to potentially start for us the next game, and he got picked up by another team. But this is the problem, right? Which is the Broncos need the best teams in the league develop that churn depth in the back end of their roster and then elevate them to become starters. Like Jonathan Cooper, great example of that. Tillman, another great example of that. Where's 92 for my Denver Broncos? These guys here developed as players and have elevated themselves into good to great players at the NFL level, and they all complement one another on the defense. The point here is that the Broncos have a great defense and we have depth, but you need to maintain the depth and behind the guys in order to make sure that you can continue to field a competent team. The problem is we're starting to go through injuries on the defensive side of the ball, and we need those guys to come back. And if they don't, we're going to not be able to play the man coverage that makes our defense what it is. and it's a change in mentality to how we're playing. So, for example, what we saw in this game, DZ, and the reason why I'm a little bit concerned with my defense here is we were getting eaten alive on zone, playing zone,
Same.
right? We couldn't switch to man because Vance Joseph was too afraid to expose PJ Locke.
I mean, you got to play. You got to do what you got to do, and I get what you're saying. You know, like injuries. I mean, I think somebody said it. I don't know, it was today or yesterday on some show, and it comes down to the teams. Like, yeah, there's a ton of reasons, you know, how a team makes it past in the playoffs, but it's who's healthiest, man. Like, this is where depth is getting tested. You know, I don't know if you lost any game, you know, any guys in that game outside of Pat Bryant. I'm not sure. We had a bunch of injuries happen in this game that are giving me question marks heading into my next game. That's what I'm starting to get worried about is, like, you know, playing teams and having the players once you get into the playoffs. It gets down to the nitty gritty, and this is where depth is getting tested big time.
Well,
Talk
here,
about playoffs.
let me
DZ, thank you and your Chargers for fucking finally kicking out the Queefs. Thank you for getting Kansas City out of there. Like, it's over. The run is over. Your team did that. That's
I wish I had a
team,
part in
bro.
that. I wish I actually had a part in that, but I didn't.
Well, your team did. So it's like, you know, thank you, Bolts. Thank you, Chargers, for doing that.
Yeah, man.
Out of all of us AFC West fans, we're so happy about that, bro. It's like that is.
You guys get to beat up on them, right? These next couple weeks.
Sorry, what?
I don't want to beat up on them. I want to lose to them. My second to last game is going to be. They got their third string quarterback coming in, playing against the Raiders. Of course. Oh, of course. Mahomes is out. Oh, Booger eating Minshew's out. Now we got to go to the third string. They got smoked 29-6 for the Titans. The Titans is one of the worst teams in the NFL. And now this is what my team's going to face. So I could lose that first number one overall pick.
Yes.
Dude. It sucks. Like if Bill was here, like, jackass. That's what it's going to be.
So, DZ, the other thing that I'm a little bit concerned with when you're dealing with what the Broncos are playing defensively right now is I don't think we're going to necessarily need to worry that much about the Chiefs because you have a young quarterback, and with pressure, you're probably going to be able to get in his head. What I worry about is a guy like Herbert, for example. So Herbert is no dummy. Herbert is a very good quarterback, and I mean, like, top tier quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he's definitely the best quarterback in the AFC West for sure.
And if you have a guy like Herbert, he's going to be able to pick apart the zone just like Lawrence did. And what you end up with the zone defense like that is because you end up with a lot of space. A couple jukes by a wide receiver can take for example, poor tackling, which is what the Broncos suffered from in that Jags game. You can have a 4-yard pass turn into like a 15 to 25-yard run, like after the catch. And that's the concern that I have, is that if we start seeing more stuff like that with my Denver Broncos making bad angled tackles, et cetera, the Chargers game is going to be a difficult one because you have a few competent receivers and more importantly, your quarterback is better than Lawrence.
Well, look, oh God, I just lost this. I forgot who the coordinator's name is for the Jags. He's obviously gotten some traction, obviously the success the Jags have gotten for head coaching gig next year. So wish him luck. But the one weakness that the Chargers have, I mean, they've got a few weaknesses through injuries and such, but the one big weakness, in my opinion, as a Chargers fan, is our offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, which, you know, we'll see what the Broncos, I mean, that's in 2 weeks. We'll see what they can do. But, you know, our luck against the Broncos has got to run out sooner than later. You know, we've had, I guess, the Knicks era, right? I think he's 0-3, and now this game's going to mean something. But yeah, I have to. Herbert's great, but when you there's a in the Dallas game, there was a play where again, Greg has got two receivers. They're running right next to each other, occupying the same area in the field. And it's things that fans have seen these last few weeks that are just like leaving us, kind of head scratching offensive. Oh, sorry. I have the game on next to me. Something crazy happened. But anyways,
Okay.
because that game kind of means something for our division. We need the Colts. I believe we need the Colts to lose. Or Chargers, my Chargers.
Yes,
but yeah, I see what you're saying. Dude, the Jags are they're playing really well right now. And we played the Cowboys. That defense was hot ass.
I don't know how you feel about this, but it's starting to become a growing, conversation in Minter and hiring your defensive coordinator to come over here. I mean, how do you feel about Minter?
I love him, but he has weaknesses, and one of them is the team that Richie's team just went up is Liam Cohen. Liam was with the Bucks last year, and the Bucks absolutely smoked us last year. He had no answers for him. And then this year we played the Jags, early game in Jacksonville. So that was an early game on the road, already a strike against you, right? And play the Bucks, and they routed us, I think 35-6 or something. Just beat the break off of us. But so he has his weaknesses. But that being said, this is what I keep hearing from the media is like the Chargers have a bunch of no-namers on their defense. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm trying to think about it, like looking from the outside in. You're probably, Khalil Mack, he's long in the tooth. Derwin James, the safety. It's probably right, but he gets the guys playing for you. I don't want him to leave, but Jim has said since day one that he wants to get him a head coaching gig. Where that's at, who knows? Now, a fan that I know that was at the game this last week got Minter to sign his daughter some merchandise or a hat or whatever. And he said, please don't leave us. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere, bro. So that could be just coach speak, but I hope he sticks around for the year 3 under Harbaugh. That'd be great and not move on next year. But if you're talking about for the Raiders, I think you guys would be, a good young OC would probably be your route, especially if you're picking a quarterback.
I agree. But it is like a conversation that's now being had, on Minter.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I think he's going to be a fantastic coach one of these days. I just hope it's not next year.
So let's. That's my thoughts on the Jags Broncos game. I just think there was a bunch of stuff that went wrong. I think that Nick's had a pretty poor game overall compared to how he played the last 2 games leading into it. I actually think that Nick's game against the Packers was his best game at the NFL level.
That was an excellent game.
Yeah, and so I want to be fair and balanced in how I'm critiquing him. I think that in this game here, Nix did not take the game over. Nix did not put the team on his back to do the things that he needed to do.
Seems like he had a lot of incompletions, but he had the yard.
But do you know? No. Do you know what he did?
Him a clutch.
No. Do you know what he did?
What?
His clock. He allowed his play clock to be sped up by the Jags. If you look at the fourth quarter, Nix just let whatever was going on get to him, and he was speeding up everything over and over and over again, and it was not good. It got to a point where he was getting those happy feet again, and it seriously impacted his game. It was bad.
Dude, he still had 352 yards. That's pretty good. And then
right,
you didn't talk about John Franklin Myers having 2 sacks. I just see that's pretty good.
Well, Malcolm Roach would have had 2 sacks as well if he didn't get that one called back because the refs are idiots.
Well, That's true. There's
Yeah.
that. I mean,
So,
there's that.
so, but
But
anyways,
I mean, I'm just kind of like going through your guys' game stats. Seems like RJ Harvey's kind of pedestrian. 7 for. They really only had him carry the ball 7 times.
7 times. McLaughlin actually had a pretty good game,
Yeah,
but
for
look at
50
Harvey's
yards.
pass catching. Look at his all-purpose.
Oh, okay. That's what I got to do. Just go to the full box score.
Well, Harvey was like more important in the passing game, like four
yeah.
catches for 71 yards.
He had 7 for 50. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he had one of his better games in this game against the Jags, actually.
Dude, my wife had Cortland Sutton, and he absolutely killed me. And guess what? I left RJ Harvey on my bench, and that killed me. So yeah, and I left Trevor Lawrence on my bench, and I didn't play him. I was like, "This is where the shoe's going to drop." Well, I was like, "He's on the road. He's been playing really well." I looked at his past opponents, and he was going into Denver against that defense. They're going to be pissed off about that. Well, maybe not pissed off. So I'm like, I'm not going to play him. I'm going to play. I'm trying to think of who I played. I think I played Brissett, and Brissett just took a dump on me. And I think in fantasy, Trevor Lawrence had like 30 points or something. And I'm just like, oh my God, give me a break, dude. So yeah,
Cortland Sutton must have had like almost 30 points too. He was killing it.
He had some good points. I dig in my app, but yeah, it's over. It's over for me. And then I was playing. I know we're getting off topic, but I was playing Coach Defense. We all know Coach Defense, and he had his quarterback. He had his quarterback get knocked out of the game. Right? I think he had Jordan Love. Only got him like 3.5 points or something, and he's still gonna beat me because the rest of my team just decided to, just not. They knew it was semifinals as well, I guess. So, yeah, man, I'm upset because I was trying to go for back-to-back championships because I won that year.
Yep.
Yeah, DZ, I want to hear about your big win, the knockout, the KC Queefs, get them out of the playoffs. Your team did it, dude. Your team did it. So salute to that.
Jack, we didn't we talk about that one last week?
Yes.
Was it last week?
Yeah,
yes.
Am I looking at the wrong game?
You might be, buddy. We played the Cowboys last week.
You played the Cowgirls
yesterday. Man, I'm so used to doing the show on a Wednesday, and I'm like, oh yeah, it was yesterday. But yeah, Richie, you want to touch on anything more with you?
Well, I wasn't on last week, so maybe that's why I'm thinking of it.
Let's go right into the Cowboys. I will admit, DZ, I thought that the Cowboys were going to field a better offense against your defense and make it more competitive. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think I had. I think I had you losing. Did I not?
I had the scores from last week. I have just my scores. I had us. I had faith. I had us still taking it. My scores from last week for the Chargers versus Cowboys was 27-24. I had it to being a really close game.
I had it the other way around, I think. I had it basically like almost what you did, but I think I had the Chargers losing to the Cowboys by a
and I picked your Broncos.
Similar margin.
I had them 24 over the Jags, 21. And then I had the Texans 27, Raiders 10, and man, Raiders almost had it. But
yeah, I know.
This game, I was kind of nervous about this game going into Arlington, but there's a caveat to that because the Eagles played on Saturday night, and the Eagles essentially knocked any playoff hopes for the Cowboys out by their win. So going into this game, I'm like, hearing how Brian Schottenheimer, the head coach for the Cowboys, was, how he was talking. He's like, we're still going to play, blah, blah, blah. We're still going to, give it our all. And I was also really nervous because the Cowboys on defense didn't have their D tackle, and his name is escaping me. They got him through trade. I think, Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams.
Yeah.
He was coming. Yeah, he was coming from
a beast, dude.
and he was trending to play, but then all of a sudden a neck issue popped up. I guess that was going along with his concussion. So he didn't play. And I think the fact that they got knocked out of the playoffs might have had something to do with them not playing him. They're like, nope, just kidding. He's not going to play. But this game started out and it was a shootout. Like the Chargers defense, I was like, oh God, back to your old self, because they ran primarily zone, just like you were complaining about your D coordinator. That's just Minter's MO. And the main reason, like they mix in man, but the main reason that they don't go to man is, as much, they don't have that lockdown cornerback that the Broncos, have with Surtain, where they can run man on one side primarily, zone on the other side, or something like
Yeah, but
that.
Moss is a man guy too. He's freaking awesome in man coverage overall. Like he's very good.
Is he a liability?
No.
Okay.
He gets picked on because he's on the other side of Pat Surtain. But
That's
if you
true.
look at his pass breakups and his completion percentage, his completion percentage when he's thrown to is like 40%.
I mean, so
Yeah,
he's
handsy though. He's handsy.
he just had a rough game, I guess, this last game.
I don't think so. He had like 2 or 3. He had one penalty or one big catch, and then he came back and had a pass breakup.
So it says, let's see, look at this. Dude, he had a sack?
Yes.
Oh my God. It's so it just shows 2 pass defenses, and he had a QB hit and a and a sack and a tackle, 2 tackles for loss. Okay. So then I want to see, because he got some penalties called on him, I think.
I don't think in this game. No, Jaquan McMillan had some bad plays against him. He gave up some big ones.
Well, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing something with Moss, and like he gave up a touchdown or something. And anyways,
well, Jarwin had a great game. Like 5 tackles, 1 assist, 1 forced fumble.
But anyways, the only reason why I stepped in there, DZ, is that Moss is often looked at as like the lesser than older brother.
Mr. Wheezy, don't forget it. I swear to God, if my kid that I don't have strikes out, I'm gonna beat his ass.
Now the question, Mr. Wheezy, is: do you recommend the metal bat or the wooden bat?
I like the wiffle bat.
The metal bat or the wooden bat, because really it's personal preference. But anyways,
every week we get somebody that comes in and just
I know
they just talk about the looks. They're like, I think we have some guys like, you have a good skull shape. I'm like, what? I just went into like organ harvesting.
I coached Little League for like 8 years, so it's like, yeah, I don't get that stuff. You're not beating your kids with no bats, dude. It's like,
but anyways,
open hand.
Yeah, phone book, no bruises. But anyways, with regards to the corners and the comments there, is like the Broncos have at least 3 dudes that are normally really good in man coverage, and then they got Jahdae Barron, who's getting like the experience to get there. So like we have the guys that can intermix, generally speaking, in man at least, and are getting better at zone, but they're still not there. And so that's what really had a negative impact in this game here. But to your point, yes, you're not necessarily stacked on the corner side of it in order to play like the pure man coverage, and that makes sense.
So going to get the Cowboys in the first half, this game was looking like it was going to be a shootout, and I'm like, here we go, because I think I was sitting there in like the first quarter, and I'm like my wife, I'm like, I haven't seen one negative play that the Cowboys had. And then I was like, oh, he overthrew a receiver or something. And I'm like, okay, there we go. That's fine. But like damn near the whole first half, Dak and the Cowboys could do whatever they want with no response from the defense. They looked damn near unstoppable. Rightfully so. They were, or they still are, the number one defense in the league. I mean, number one offense in the league. Dude, Pickens had himself a game. He was smoking our Cam Hart, just burning for just bad. So, but at the
Hard,
same,
Notre Dame, bro.
yeah, at the
So
same time,
now you know I love that.
at the same time, on the plus side for the Chargers is Justin in the offense. They were answering right back with their sustained drives. I'll just go back and look at the first half. It started out with a touchdown from Dak to Ryan Flournoy. Then the Chargers answered back with a touchdown from Quentin Johnston from Justin Herbert. Oh, my God. Justin put that in the best way. I think that was a one-handed catch from Quentin. And then the second quarter was a field goal by the Cowboys, held in a field goal. That was good. Chargers answered back with a touchdown. Then another touchdown by the Cowboys. And then Justin Herbert, they call it the electric surge. It's our version of the tush push. He gets into the end zone via the tush push electric surge. But so I'm like going into halftime, I'm like, this is going to be freaking shootout, and it's going to be whoever has the ball last, essentially one of those games. Well, Jesse Minter and the defense must have made adjustments because the Cowboys didn't score for the rest of the second half. And the Chargers ended up winning this game pretty handily, 34-17. Held them in check. Now, there's two sides to this. Is the Cowboys had nothing to play for after that. Their offense could have kept clicking, which it was still trying. They eventually pulled Dak and brought in their backup. And their defense is horrible. The secondary, we've tried, but their secondary is horrible. Now, from an outsider looking in at the Cowboys, if the Cowboys retain this offense and just focus on the defense going into next season, get a few more guys. They need some cornerbacks, safeties, cornerbacks, what have you. Just rebuild that defense or add on to what they've already done, because I think they Frank Clark and obviously Quinnen Williams didn't play. That team could be a force to be reckoned with if they can get an average defense in Dallas with that offense. I mean, we saw it like the Bengals essentially. The Bengals and the Cowboys are like almost damn near identical, just in two different conferences, where you have two number one wide receivers, a really good running back. I mean, your old boy Javonte Richie, he's doing pretty good down there. Rusty Trim out two, including obviously Dusty Joseph. Man, that's some poetic writing. Anyways, just some quick stats. Low-key Chargers on a heater. They've won their last 7 out of 8. The one they did lose is the team that Richie's team just lost to. Herbert.
I will say, as a Raiders fan, I am looking forward for you guys to battle it out in the playoffs. That'd be a game I will watch. That's gonna be smoking hot.
I hope
2 AFC West teams. Now, you guys want to make a bet on that? You guys want to make a bet? I mean, I'm not making a bet because like my team's like batting for the best spot in the draft.
I'm not making any bets.
You two boys are like you're like the big heads right now. You got the big heads. Woo!
I'm not making any bets right now because we had some injuries in this game. We've already been dealing with bad luck on the offensive line. Sawyer went out, who has been holding it down at left tackle.
He's a good player too.
Yeah, I love him.
He's a good player.
He went down with
he's done pretty well.
A hamstring injury, which I don't really see that with offensive linemen. So he didn't come back. Deontay Jackson, one of our cornerbacks, who I think has got to be in the tops of interceptions this year. He got a groin injury. Benjamin St. Juste had a shoulder or an arm. It did not look good. Vidal, our running back, backing up Omari and Hampton, he had a neck injury. And Trey Harris.
I didn't know that.
Oh, salute, Nav. All love, buddy. On game days, we're enemies, but, six other days out of the week, we can all be friends. But on game days, that's it. So we had some injuries in this game, and luckily, I think Jim came out and said these are all day-to-day kind of things. I also want to give shout out to Tuli Pelotu. Dude, he's got 13 sacks on the season. I know it's not up there with some of these tops, but I think that's tied in for third place right now. The dude is balling out. I'm really proud of him. Trey Harris, our rookie receiver, got a dislocated finger, and I think it had to do with how hard Justin threw the ball and he caught it. I don't know if that was the ball hitting his hand or what, but there was this really fun clip on the sideline of the trainer popping his finger back in, which probably didn't feel good, but I guess just throw some tape on there.
Hey, DZ, Herbert is definitely the best quarterback in the AFC West and maybe the AFC overall. I mean, he does shit that I can't believe, other people do. It's like he's unbelievable this year. And with Harbaugh, with his being his head coach, I mean, it's unbelievable what I've seen, what he's done.
Look,
good for him, bro.
Justin, I'm a big fan of him. He's had a couple really bad playoff games. Two. He's only been in two. They were both really bad. So he needs to get that taste out of everybody's mouth. His haters saw those games and they were bad. So so the best thing he's got to do, he's got to win a few of these games, winning these big games, these playoff games. But the thing I will give Justin credit for is he's one tough SOB, man. He's dealt with injuries. He stays in the games. He's 2 weeks removed from hand surgery. He's out there. He's balling. He went for 23 out of 29, 2 touchdowns, threw 300 yards. He had a tush push. Nav. He had a tush push rushing touchdown, and he had 42 yards of rushing. Also, it looks like Hampton's getting healthy. Hampton was 16 for 85 and a touchdown. He had a 5.3 yard average. QJ came back. He missed last week. I'd like to see them go head to head. I don't think Justin and Allen have gone head to head in their careers. I don't remember. Stinson, you're in the chat. I don't know if Lawrence is playing really good, but the thing is Lawrence has been bad up until this year where he's got everything going right for him. Justin's been on crappy teams with no defense and still been playing well. So that's why I'm going to always pick Herbert over that. But Allen, I'd love to see them thing Allen does. Allen can carry a team on his back because, man, that Bills defense, in my opinion, is ass.
Herbert can carry teams on his back, too. So this is what I want to see. I cannot wait to see the Broncos and the Chargers play in the playoffs. I mean, I want to see you guys, your two teams, go head-to-head because you guys got different strengths, different weaknesses, but it will be a fun game to watch.
Jeff, it's going to be interesting that you say that because, as an example, depending on kind of where we end up with in Week 18 here, the Broncos and the Chargers will play, and if the Broncos win, we will end up with the number 1 seed.
So they get a bye.
And we get a bye. If the Broncos lose, we basically fall, assuming things are going to fall where I think they're going to fall. Right? We fall all the way to 6th seed.
Yep.
Wow.
The Chargers get the 2, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, the Chargers will get the 2.
So that's going to be one hell of a game.
there's a lot of discrepancy going on. I think it's like it would the Patriots are guaranteed for the would be guaranteed for the 1 in that case. Like there's
If the
been no way.
Broncos if the Broncos lost, then there's no way there's no scenario that the Broncos could end up back in the first seed.
Yeah, there's some really interesting stuff happening. Some bad news for my team is earlier news came out that Perryman got suspended for 2 games. He had a hit on Flournoy. I can't say his last name. Is it Flournoy? Flournoy? I don't know his name. It's a wide receiver for the Cowboys. He was Dak threw this ball kind of over the middle, but he was running over the middle, kind of threw his ball behind. Flournoy reached back for the ball, caught it, and then at the same time went to his butt, and then Perryman just hammered him while he was on the ground, and they called it, I guess, helmet to helmet, or they say he has a history. He's been in the league for a while. He's dealt with suspensions and fines in the past, so he's going to appeal it, but it's really bad timing, especially with the games coming up. Got the Houston Texans this Saturday. They might have Woody Marks back by then, that's their number 1 runner. He didn't play. I don't think he played against the Raiders. I think they have their backup in there, Jawar, whoever. I don't know his name. But and then we've got the Broncos with RJ and their group of guys. So really can't afford to have Perryman, because then that'd just be really thin at the linebackers.
This is an interesting one.
Probably.
Do you want me to go over the stats comparison, because it's super fascinating? You might be surprised.
Sure.
Okay. Bo Nix has more completions than Herbert
this season.
So I have 2025 direct compare side by side, like A and B. Bo Nix has 551 attempts to Justin Herbert's 480. Justin Herbert has a slightly higher completion percentage at 66.5 versus Bo Nix 63.2. You're basically talking a pretty much statistical tie once you factor in number of attempts thrown. So they're like even all the way down. Bo Nix has eked out, again, based on percentage or throws. He's at 36.08 and Herbert is at 34.91. And then Herbert has the next 2 yards per attempt, 7.3, and touchdowns. Herbert is 1 more TD than Bo at 25 versus Bo Nix is 24. And then where Bo Nix, believe it or not, is actually statistically better than Herbert. He has 10 interceptions to Herbert's 12.
Oh, Herbert has a lot this year.
Yeah. And then Bo has only been sacked 17 times to Justin Herbert's 49.
Okay, that last number, say that again.
Right.
There's a huge difference on offensive line play between Denver and the Chargers. Yeah, dude. This is why I think Herbert's tough as nails, because, these are going to catch up, right? These hits will catch up to you eventually. But,
yeah.
He kind of another stat to
rushing yards,
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well,
no, go ahead. I can finish this off once you're done.
Yeah, because the sacks, the Chargers didn't give up a sack against the Cowboys, which was a kind of a rare sight to see. But that just shows you how Alice take the D out of Dallas, the Cowboys were, and yeah, let's just say that. Go ahead.
So I'll go through the rushing side of it. Herbert beats Bo Nix in every rushing category except for one. So Herbert has 77 rushing attempts, 461 yards, 6 yards per attempt. The longest runs 41, and then he's got rushes of 20 plus of 7. Bo Nix's stats going down that run is 66, 265, 4.0, and 25, and 2 runs of 20 plus. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Bo Nix has more rushing touchdowns, and it's 2-1. Bo Nix has 4, Herbert has 2.
Yeah, the rushing for him it's pretty rare, but
yeah. And then we get into just miscellaneous stats here. They both played 15 games, so it's a wash. I'm not even gonna get into fantasy points because I think that stuff makes no difference. I couldn't care less about that crap.
It makes no difference.
I care about actual stats. Now this is where it gets interesting, which is points per game is a slight edge, and I mean, like, you're gonna laugh when you hear this. Bo Nix wins at 19.0 points per game.
Wow.
Justin Herbert, 18.9.
Shit.
It's like,
that's for this year. That's for this year.
That's this year, yeah.
Hmm.
And then snaps. Bo Nix is 939. Snaps per game. Bo Nix is at 63. Justin Herbert's in those same two are 916 and 61. And then points per 100 snaps. We have Herbert with 31.0.
Yeah, they're pretty equal. I mean, look,
it's basically a statistical tie when you start like going down the list, right? Like
the records of the teams. I mean, they're almost
So
what the Broncos are what 12 and what are you 12 and 3?
12 and 3.
12 and 3.
And you're 11 and 4, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. As a guy's like an outsider, I'm looking in. Richie's Broncos offensive line is a top 3 or 4 offensive line. I will say for
Powers back too.
Well, wait. And I will say, DZ, your team, you got a better quarterback. You have better offensive weapons, but your offensive line doesn't compare to Richie's offensive line.
Not at all.
So
not at all.
That's where the matchup is. I feel like DZ, your defense is like that good this year. It's like, Richie's defense, in my mind, is like the best defense in the NFL, period, bar none. And I've said that from like day one. So if you guys play each other, it will be about, what Richie's defensive line, and having those outside rushers against your offensive line. And it would be, what Amari Hampton, who, my God, he's better than Harvey. In my mind, he's better than Harvey. And it's like, what you guys can do on the offensive side with your quarterback. Because I said this, you didn't see it. I said Herbert was the best quarterback in the AFC West. And I believe he's actually the best quarterback probably in all the AFC.
Well,
so,
I mean, as Nav brought up earlier, I think Nav had what do you say? Josh Allen is 3-0, but he said college. That doesn't count. But I guess I don't remember the Chargers playing the Bills. Maybe they did back in 2020 COVID year. And then another year. Nav obviously likes Josh Allen. I love Josh Allen. I root for the Bills when my team's not on. But look.
Yeah, we want as a Nav like me, if we don't want your teams to win, we want an outside of the AFC West team to win.
So the thing about Josh Allen is when he came into the league, does nobody remember him coming into the league? He was
bad.
He was bad. And then, which is making his story pretty cool because he's now really good and he can carry his team on his back and do all that thing. I don't think Herbert's ever been bad. He's had bad games, but I don't think he's ever been a bad.
No, he's had one of the best statistical trajectories outside of Patrick Mahomes because where Herbert has struggled is obviously getting to the playoffs and winning playoff games.
Winning the games that are really important.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody will catch what Mahomes has been able to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's damn near impressive. And I mean, Mahomes gets a lot of slack, but speaking of the Chiefs, for people in the chat who don't know, the Chiefs who play in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, they will be moving to the state of Kansas I thought that was really interesting. The Chiefs are moving, and I don't know. I saw some people in there like, oh, I think Nav said he's like Arrowhead isn't special or anything. I have read probably like 20 Chiefs fans that are like just reading through some comments and stuff. They are pissed. They are livid about this. So we'll see how this all pans out. Them moving. I don't know how far away it is. I don't know the logistics, but I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So
the big question is like, will they call themselves the Kansas City Chiefs? Like the Niners like call themselves, San Francisco, or like the Jets?
Are they going to call themselves the
Giants, New York when they play in New Jersey? I mean, if you can't rep your own city, that's sad.
Are they going to be the Kansas State Chiefs? They can't be the Kansas City Chiefs, even though there is a Kansas City in Kansas. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where they're moving to. I don't know what city it's going to be in Kansas. I don't know. It's just weird, but
So, do you have anything else to cover off on your game, or do you want to get into our quick score predictions for next week?
No. Other than the injuries that I'm kind of concerned with, they're all day to day heading in because we've got a quick game. We've got a Saturday game against the Texans, who the Raiders just played. No, looking back.
Oh, they're going to be inspired, bro.
Huh? The Texans are going to be inspired?
I think the Texans will be inspired. Look, you almost lose to the Raiders. They're going to be inspired. Like they know they need to play way better. Like you can't just go into this game like go, oh, we're going to do cake walkover.
No, so
we got
mollywopped by the Texans in the playoffs last season. Like just they teed off. And look, they picked up their defense, picked right up where they left off. I still think their offense is a bit suspect, the Texans offense. Now I was looking at like who the Chargers had last year, and comparative who they have this year for weapons wise. So the running backs we had last year in that playoff game was Dobbins, who was coming off an injured ankle. We had Gus Edwards and Hassan Haskins. This year we have Hampton. Haskins is still there. And I don't know if Vidal plays in this game or it's Patterson that gets brought up. So I don't know if that's I don't know like how that compares. I do like Hampton. He can play some bully ball. None of those guys last year in that game could do anything. And then wide receivers we had last year was Ladd, DJ Chark, Darius Davis, QJ, Disley, our tight end, and Fisk. That's what Herbert had to work with. This year, he has, or I'm projecting into this game, he has Ladd, QJ, Keenan Allen, Trey Harris, Oronde Gadsden, Will Disley, and KLS. Fisk is on IR. So I think it's better receivers, worse offensive line. So yeah, this game will be interesting. Merry Christmas, Willie Wayne, and good night, man.
Hey, what's up, Willie Wayne? See you, brother.
But yeah, I guess we'll just get into the score predictions. This is in SoFi.
For the record, I've already listed my
predictions
in the
private chat.
Private chat. So
wait, okay, did I look up? Jack, do you want to go?
Well, okay, it's like I want to ask you guys.
So
we
have Chargers Texans. Chargers Texans. Who do you got?
Chargers are favored 2.5 points. I think it opened up at 1.5.
I'm taking Chargers. You want to call your score, or I'll call it for you?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
No, you can go ahead. I'm just looking at some stuff.
I think it's going to be like 26-23. I think the Chargers going to win. The Chargers have a lot more to play for. I know Houston has a lot to play for too, but after seeing this game, if the Raiders can do this, I know your team can do this.
Were they sleeping on you guys? Like, what do you think they?
Oh yeah, they
overlooked?
slept. They slept on us. You know, they did sleep on us. And you know, the Raiders played their best game probably the whole year, and still lost. So your team has got a lot to play for, and they have a lot to play for. I do see it close. That's what. If my team could keep CJ Stroud down, your team could keep CJ Stroud down too. Your team, you got a better defensive roster than my team. So
I'm
calling it 26-23.
I like Glenn Paul's score prediction. Glenn, I'm gonna steal that one. I like that 23-16 because I kind of was watching what the Raiders are doing with Nico Collins, and you know the Texans didn't have Woody Marks. I think Woody Marks comes back. He is a hell of a lot better than who they had going against the Raiders. So that should help them tremendously. But I like that score, Glenn. I'm going to take that. I think that's going to be my score, 23-16, 23-17, 23-16, something around there. I think it'll be a lower scoring game than last week.
Yeah, so I have this as 21-17 Chargers. I think that the defenses are going to both come out to play. Eventually, the offenses will get something going, but ultimately, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than we think. I do think the Chargers win this one. Again, that's 21-17 is my score prediction for the game.
You all got the Chargers.
For your Chargers. That's the Chargers, yeah. Yeah.
Now we have...
now we got the Broncos Chiefs.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, that's going to be domination.
Oh, dude, did you guys see what you guys opened up as?
No.
12.5 point favorites.
It should be maybe 15 points.
12.5 point favorites, man. When was the last time anybody...
against a divisional team.
Yeah.
I know, but it's the third string quarterback.
When was the last time the Chiefs were ever underdogs that big?
I can't remember.
It hasn't happened.
Dude. I'm just gonna throw this one out of my butt. I think the Broncos, I think Sean Payton puts a state. I think you guys beat these guys like 34-6. Like I think it's like 34-6 or something like that. That's I'm locking it in. Broncos win 34-6.
Okay.
It'll be good to see the Broncos kick the shit out of the Kansas City. It's like we all want to see that, you know, at this point. I got it like shit. 31-12.
I think they exercise some demons, man.
I think Kansas City's on the third string quarterback. So do you guys even know who the third string quarterback is? I don't.
Some dude I've never heard of. Like I said, Shane something. Look, it was evident in their last game. Okay, after the Chargers game, I saw all the injuries that the Chiefs miraculously had these guys. Because, you know, when the Chiefs were winning, they rarely had like injuries. Their guys kind of like would just, they're day-to-day, they're limited in practice, and then they're good to go. You had like 6 or 7 guys. I don't know the exact number. We're like, nope, they're not playing next week. And then do you think that the Chiefs players, after getting blown out by the Titans, are really ready to suit up and go against the pissed off Broncos? No. The Broncos have something to play for. Dude, there's going to be some business decisions are going to be
I want
made.
Alex on this show next week just to just to talk about this shit. I mean, it's going to be a fucking domination show. Fucking Richie, you're I'm sorry. I apologize for the swearing. You, Bill Spence, and McDungus and everyone else, it's going to be a domination. It's going to be a straight up domination for the first time in a long time. And I'm glad to see it happen. I'm glad to see it happen.
So, I mean, I think this is going to be like 31-10 Broncos. That's where I have it. Now, that's what I think it's going to be. Now, I'm going to give a different score prediction for where I want it to be. I want this to be like a 51-point game for my Broncos. And like I want it to be 51 points. Like that's my
Oh,
magic numbers.
A
nice.
smoking.
And in addition to that, I want to see this be a 9-sack game.
You might see that. I mean, I don't know who they've got on the O line.
That ain't gonna happen, but
They had like 3 backups when we played them. I don't know what their O line was looking like against the Titans. Look, I know the Titans get a lot of crap. I think their defense is a lot better than what they're giving credit to, but nowhere near on the same level as the Broncos. Now, if the Broncos do go in like smelling blood and wanting blood and want to like just kill somebody, this can get ugly quick, like very quick. Oh
Like
man,
I could see this being like a 3-sack game for Malcolm Roach. I could see this being like a 2-sack game for like Benito and like a 2-sack game for Cooper. Like
would
that's what
that
I'm saying. Like
Richie, would that break the record, like for all-time sacks, if you got that?
I gotta sneeze.
72, I think, or 71. So if it was 9, yes, we would be one above what I think what the max is right now. If we had 9.
That's nuts.
I mean, they don't really have a running game. Like Pacheco and Kareem Hunt really aren't that good. I mean, Travis Kelce probably out there. I think that they just start pulling guys and throwing backups in there, essentially.
You know what's kind of crazy, fellas? It's like, if Kelsey retires and stay with the Swifty, then he gives back $17 million in salary cap. It's like, I almost want Kelsey to stay for another year.
Yeah.
Versus retire.
I
just
think
eat that cap.
I think the Chiefs are
40 million over.
Yeah, 40 million over.
40 million over
next season.
Yeah. So Jack, we may as well just go right into your Raiders.
This is my favorite game, by the way.
So we got Raiders Giants.
Oh,
Jack,
dude.
I regret to inform you that my score prediction for your Raiders versus the Giants is 25-20. Raiders win.
Richie, I'm just going to give you the bird without giving you the bird.
Wait, what did you say it was?
25-20.
I don't want this. I don't want to win. Absolutely 100%. I don't want to win. I want a loss. It's not because I want, I ever cheer for the Raiders to lose, but it's this time of the year. It's Christmas, right? All I want for Christmas is the first pick in the draft. And both teams suck ass. It's like what quarterback's going to suck ass? I think, I think their quarterback is better than the quarterback that I have. So I'm going to call it, Raiders 20, because I'm going to root for the Raiders to lose. Raiders 20, New York Giants 22. Close, because, they played this game well against Houston, but I cannot root for a win at this point in my time as a Raiders fan. I want that pick that bad.
This game's weird because I can see
it's weird.
I could see when one team takes over in the lead, I could see GMs call down or try to get a hold of the head coach, be like, you better not effing try to win this game. You better pump your brakes on this, man. Because the Giants really don't need that pick where they're kind of at, but the Raiders kind of want that pick. You want to still stay in the running for that top 1-2 pick, right? 1, 2, or 3 pick. And the Giants don't need a quarterback, but like I said, I've seen this scenario. I think I said it to Nav on his channel where there's a scenario that I've heard being floated around that the Giants could, if they got to be able to pick Mendoza, that they would pick him and trade Jackson Dart because they would go after the guy who is more in a pro-ready style and who is a bigger like bigger stature quarterback, better arm, and trade Jackson Dart.
And D said, I've heard the same thing with Miami. It's like, if Miami loses and the Raiders win, you can get Ward with the second, a second rounder. So I keep hearing the same stuff, like the same talk with these quarterbacks. I'm like, yeah, I don't even want it. I just want.
There's probably going to be a new head
quarterback.
coach. There's probably going to be a new head coach in New York next year, right? And
New York would trade up, like to the Jets would trade to the Giants because they got all those draft picks. They traded Sauce Gardner. They traded a Quentin Williams.
So
they got all these picks.
Yeah. So
they would move up to take a quarterback.
So what's so attractive?
Well, they're going to pass up the Raiders.
For the Raiders and the Giants is you've got a top pick, right? And then you've got good cap space. So it's like there's a lot of these things. There's a lot of these situations floating around out there. New head, man, it's going to be interesting. Dude, I don't know who wins this game, to be honest.
I don't want it interesting. I just want solidify and get it done at this point. I cheer for both of your teams, and I can't wait to see you guys play each other in the playoffs. That will be fun to talk about.
Let's wrap this up. I'm gonna say the Giants win by 1 point. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, DZ.
I'm just saying the Giants are winning by 1 point. 1 point. And that's it. I don't know the score, but
walk-off field goal, 1 point victory kind of thing.
Something like that. Yeah. I think this means too much to Raiders Nation to not get a win, so they can stay in that draft area and hopefully get their quarterback of the future.
Now, do you realize how bad it's going to be if the Giants lose, end up in that top 1 or 2, and if the Jets trade the Hall to get up into their spot, and then the Giants are going to be loaded
for years.
And honestly, that is going to be dangerous because they're not that bad of a team.
No,
they actually have some really good building blocks, and if they just stack onto what they have, they're going to go from not great to top tier, and that's going to be scary. Really scary.
One of the real quick on my team. One of the things, if the Chargers, them not winning the division, they have to look back because they beat the Eagles and the Cowboys, but they lost to the Giants and the Commanders, and 2 games that they probably, looking back, shouldn't have lost. I mean, the Commanders, they were kind of moving really well at that time with the Jaden Daniels, but losing to the Creatine Caucasians, that probably shouldn't have happened. So, yeah, it's really interesting.
Yep. Well, guys, we've called all the games. We've gone through the recap of last week's game, and that's going to do it for the show. We've had a good little run. Put our predictions out there, and we're going to get all the scores, at least Casey and Denver, and get some interesting numbers out of it on Christmas Day, and then. Honestly, week 18, we kind of said it's either going to mean nothing or everything, and it's going to mean everything, in my opinion. I think week 18 is going to be the game.
And I was hoping you guys would just rest your starters week 18. This is God.
Yeah. So anyways, next week's show is going to be a doozy because we're going to see where things are at, and we will go from there. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Appreciate you joining us on the odd day of Monday. Our show obviously is every Wednesday, typically at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You guys have yourself a wonderful evening, a very Merry Christmas, and we will see you on Wednesday. Peace!
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute.